happening across the United States. We have seen some incredible amounts of rain over there. That activity will be a problem all the way from the Gulf states all the way up towards the northeast. Take a look at some video that we had come into this area. You can see, whoop, there goes the video, but let me tell you what we saw over the last day. We saw some major flooding up to the north. The rain melted the snow, causing the rivers to rise, and we had some major flooding in that region. All the way down to the south, we are looking at some very warm conditions, but very rainy conditions all the way down to Miami, 27 degrees for them. Also out to the north, we are looking at Montreal with some snow for them.
Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
Thanks, Kevin. Just a line coming from our Al Jazeera Arabic colleagues who are speaking to Mustafa Abdul Jalil. Now, he's the head of the National Opposition Council in Libya, who apparently have been negotiating with Gaddafi, and they say that if Gaddafi steps down within 72 hours, they will not pursue him. Gaddafi's government, of course, says it's absolute nonsense that any negotiations are going on. We will bring you more on that as we get it. Well, as the battle for Libya rages on, the fighting has pushed oil prices to their highest point in more than 2 years. We'll have more on that and how it's impacting on the global economy. And in other news, the Afghan cash for work programs that are attracting hundreds of people a week. But who's benefiting? Stay with us.
It's the right ingredients and just the right amount. It's 729 layers and several well-spent hours. It's when 1 degree too high is too high. 1 minute too long is just too long. And then you remember, this is just the appetizer. A 5-star menu on board Qatar Airways. Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
Qatar, through Qatar Petroleum and its partners, has been adopting ambitious plans aimed to expand its exports of natural gas in its liquefied form into remote international markets and to supply piped gas to regional markets. In implementing those plans, Qatar has been benefiting from its strategic geographic location and the relatively low cost of producing gas from its territories. Qatar Petroleum.
Welcome back. You're with Al Jazeera. Let's just remind you of our top story. Libya's Opposition National Council says it's considering an offer from Colonel Gaddafi to step down if he can avoid prosecution and keep his assets. But state TV has denied that such an offer was made. The government's rejecting the news as absolute nonsense. Britain and France are pushing ahead with plans for a UN-backed no-fly zone over Libya. But China has said Russia's sovereignty must be respected, suggesting it would veto a resolution. Meanwhile, Gaddafi's forces continue to launch airstrikes on Libya's rebel-held towns. AlJazeera was reported to be surrounded by government forces. And in Ras Lanuf, witnesses say residents are fleeing as the town is hit by aerial attacks. Well, I spoke to one rebel fighter in Ras Lanuf a little earlier on, Khalid.
Now, so we can see two airplanes are in the sky. They are moving above us, and we don't know what time they will strike us again. Revolutionaries are very brave. They are not afraid, but they are taking their places behind some hills and some anti-plane missiles. We are trying they're trying to shoot their planes in the sky, and a very big battle now is. Very big fighting now in Bin Jawad. Since 2 hours ago started, Gaddafi troops, they attack Bin Jawad, and the revolutionaries are trying to send them back to Al-Wadi Al-Ahmar. Gaddafi now is playing in the injury time because he knows that from now at any time maybe no flying zone will take place.
Now, we've just been hearing in the past few minutes that the head of the National Council, Mustafa Abdul-Jalil, who is speaking to my colleagues at Al Jazeera Arabic, has been saying that there are two conditions for Colonel Gaddafi in the ongoing negotiations for him to step down. One, he's got to stop the bombing. Two, he's got to leave within 72 hours. Let's speak to Ibrahim Shakir, who's with the Brookings Centre here in Doha and joins me now. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Interesting developments
Yes.
about the talks between Gaddafi's people and the opposition National Council. We're now being told that the council is saying they won't pursue him if he steps down within 72 hours. What do you think the likely reaction is going to be?
Well, thank you. That's a very good, that's a very timely statement that's made by Abdul-Jalil at this point. And I think it came as a reaction to the discussion that we heard yesterday about the offer that al-Gaddafi made an offer to leave with his assets and with his children, with his family, and that he will not be prosecuted and later on after he leaves the country. So he denied, as we know, and the state TV, Libyan state TV denied as well. We heard also from Abdul-Jalil that they refused to give him this offer. But I think that was a smart move on the opposition side, is to put him, to make him responsible for his statements and for his the international community and for the Libyan people, because now it will show that the oppositions are very serious. And I think it's a good offer that Abdul-Jalil is making, that he has this window of opportunity to leave the country and to end this crisis for the Libyan people.
But him stepping down is only the first stage. I mean, because he would leave behind his ruling party, the General People's Congress, and so then you have to decide what happens next.
It is definitely not the ideal situation, and there will be many things to be worked out later. The details, no one is talking about the details. No one is talking about the terms of departure or what is going to happen for the entire regime. It's not only about the al-Gaddafi family, but what we have seen now is that he really is trying to escape with him by himself and with his family.
Well, I mean, he wants to look out for himself.
Exactly.
I mean, he's not thinking about Libya, because a lot of people would say, well, hang on a minute, that money is not your money, that is the money of Libya.
Yeah. I think he will continue to maneuver and to try to get the best deal for his departure, and this shows actually the centrism of the individualistic thinking of these autocratic regimes, that when push comes to shove, he will look for himself only and for his family. But I don't think that he's going to get away with it. And no matter of how you try to maneuver and how to try to bargain, because it's a bargaining process for him at the moment, he will have to face the end that Zain al-Abidin bin Ali had faced, and with Mubarak, because regardless, I mean, these are, let's keep in mind that he has been in power for 42 years, and during this time,
we know that
a lot of crimes have been committed.
Exactly.
Yes.
He is not afraid of using force against his own people. Now, just say that the tide begins to turn in towns like Ras Lanuf and Briga and Zawiya, and his forces manage to overrun those places and crush the rebellion that's happening. That deal is going to be taken off the table, isn't it?
Exactly. I think it's, I would think it's for the best interest of the opposition is to accept his departure at the moment. And I think, again, the statement that made by Abdul